먼저 고공절 저제의 기후형 소스네. 지다 저버름치기 아니 제 구체셰베때야 아니 야음치기 구체셰베때 샵점에 안지 단달라 점례 시대다 오스트레일리아 그시 데 메셔 망고조르와 이제네기 아니 무슨 다밀리아 강아무 지수기 단달라 인생의 미우데네도와 장치 직소하지는 아니미 자바 기신을 좀 미축도와 아니 당 자바치도 미 유숨주세요. 미마만 올려도와 되네 지에 샵되게 하고 싶은 소스.
Good evening. So I want to say hello, as I do every week, but also I've just returned from some time in Adelaide in South Australia, where where there was a gathering of a number of students for a Guru Sok, or to make 100,000 offerings to Guru Rinpoche. So we came together as we do each year to engage in these offerings, so as to accumulate a merit which is dedicated to the long life of His Holiness, as well as Lama Zopa, that these great lamas may continue to abide in our world and continue to benefit limitless sentient beings. And in addition, the prayers this time were especially dedicated to all the suffering that is being experienced in the bushfires in Australia, to both those beings who have died an awful death, as well as those who are suffering in other ways, such as through the destruction of their homes and their habitat. We also gathered to make prayers for world peace, as well as the accomplishment of inner peace. There was a large group that were able to come together this year. There were 6 Geshis, about 30 ordained people, and maybe as many as a couple of hundred non-ordained people. So we had really a very beneficial few days together, and now it's good to be back here in my home with all of you. And spending time with other Geshis, we had a lot of, well, I want to say discussion, but it really was debate. And then we also did some debate performance. So we debated in front of the students for speciousness, and so we did this a couple of times. And this is also something that brings great joy to our mind, the analysis of the Buddha Dharma. So then that gave the opportunity for all those around us to directly see the debate that we've trained in for so many years, and they could then gain some experience of this effective way of study.
다지나 저기 겨치마 내가 저기 아질레 산지고 방 토비 치르도 다심제 담제 don달이야 tar바다 담지 김고 방 토고 그래 이제 디인장한테 디 don달라 근데 되게 냠는 제발라 된 개발진 류딘 개발진 고고래 이제 디인장 안 다다 류딘 개발진 토디오 마세 겨치마 남소이나 류딘 개발진 톱제 된델이야 냠는 제고 봐 인장 아니 Gyatso and the Tibetan Tobiaga Dandala, Zuki, and Jiki, or Jin Gejur, Yahutu Kure Sadi, Kisinti Kuroshe, and then the Gyatso Mato, Diwachebaina, and Digbigi, and Diana Nansoliki, Yuchi Mato, and Dendroliki to Mara, Gyatso, Dendroliki to Gures, says not Dendriki, Gudi on the Pizzi or Kisinti Kore, as you are.
We're continuing now to look at this presentation on the impermanence of life. Our time apart was impermanence, we are now together. My time in Adelaide was impermanence, we are now together. And we continue to look at our text. So last week we also spoke about the motivation that a practitioner who aspires for the Mahayana needs to cultivate whilst reflecting on the impermanence of life or death and impermanence. And that motivation is with an awareness that the most effective way to be of great benefit to others is to become a Buddha. And therefore I must strive to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And in order to achieve this exalted goal, I need a suitable basis to spiritually develop. And the most suitable basis is this of this precious human rebirth, like we have now. But this life, this human rebirth, is impermanent. It will end, and we need to ensure that when the time of death comes, that we've accumulated the causes that will lead to another good rebirth. And therefore, one generates this with this understanding of impermanence, the impermanence of this opportunity, the impermanence of this life. One develops the clear understanding that one has to apply oneself to the accumulation of virtue and ensure that one doesn't accumulate non-virtue, which are the causes for rebirth in the lower realms. And it's through the further accumulation of virtue that one continues to achieve good rebirths and thereby can progress to the attainment of enlightenment for the sake of others.
And it's Nangi Saga Tungis, and Nangi Saga Tungis, and Minor Sum So Gang Song.
In the middle of page 19, in the middle of the middle paragraph, at this moment you are content to eat, drink and consume, yet life, wealth and sensual objects and food just burn on, and you accomplish nothing of value.
And then you will remember society, Sachimodan, Dunda Chimbo, Kiechimbo Imba some diana, and the top cover, yes, some diade, and the Jelia and the Chike, Chiwamita was some diada, and then she eating him, Chiwamita, Chiwa never said, and then I'm ching him, your mother said, and then all those in the deco around the Shene, and that, and Chike, she will go so down to Chima Cheva, Japan, Chisuki Punjada, Niduda, and Desu Chiki Chemajaba, the Gangia Pink Maris, and she had been Wang Chimboyana, she had a Gatu Maris, and the Gushimboyana, she had Gatu Maris, Yada, Kormongota, the Nigger drop among Boyabane, on the Shiadi, Mel Gatu Maris, in the Dinenza, and the Nigi Shivika, on the Georgina Majibaji, Divijan, such a Shiva in that, Pesasare, Sambigi, and the Nigi. Shenaro, she didn't see best agri as some big dinner, some down, or is it share, what I can sing in my share.
Where we concluded last week was we had reminded ourselves that this presentation that we're in now follows the previous section, which was the recognition of what we have attained, this precious human rebirth, this life of such great potential. And in that presentation we spoke about how very rare it is to have this opportunity, and it's so rare we could see through how few beings have this, and that is because of how difficult it was to accumulate the required causes. So that presentation led to, through having done those reflections repeatedly, one will have now given rise to a sense of valuing this life that we've achieved in the sense of a clear understanding of the potential that can be achieved. Now we come to this topic, which reflects that this life of great meaning, this life of great potential, is impermanent. It can end, and it will end, and it can end at any time. And therefore it's imperative that we do apply ourselves to living a life of great meaning and turn away from having a mental attitude that is dominated by the accomplishment of mere mundane worldly activities. So all these thoughts and activities that occupy us so in terms of acquiring comfort and possessions, as well as our friendships and relationships, all of this, if that is all that dominates our life, we're going to not have the opportunity to engage in the accumulation of virtue and the abandonment of non-virtue. And then when the time of death comes, all that we've spent our life accumulating, whether friendships or relationships and possessions, it's going to be of no help to us then. And moreover, the negativities that we would have engaged in the cultivation of these relationships and the accumulation of our possessions, our resources, thereby we would have accumulated a lot of non-virtue. and that is what we will take into our next lives. So therefore, we need to apply ourselves to virtue in this life. We need to apply ourselves to living a life of meaning.
소수게 삼나다 가야 다야 마시바지로 망부직 benelo 주나지 대조살와다 충주시네 아니 되네게 지야 침보라 차여데 이네다 되니게 차는 안쪽에 소수기 다 충유인디가블에 밤에게 자와진 소설야사야 동야 신보라데요 엔 전부 지을 기부중어레스 제가 사스 세디나게 세디디 디게 안쪽 칼라사야로 사야 망부 다 신부 매바에 망부 사려요 신부에 망부 사요 제가 신부도 쓰나도 되니게 당한 저기 다들 봐도 당한 저기 되니게 칼라사제네 도신 망부 즉세 잠이라 망부 사요레스 아니 가 세대 되니게 되네 가보에 망고 중요했다 칼라신부도 쓰다 가보 중요하나 참념도도 하는 기우도 소속에 가보니고 조고 나자 통에도 가보 죄다 되네 가보 망고 중요했어 제레스 아니 통세다 통야리 망고 통야서다 지게 자다나 가르통엔 통야리 망고 통야레스 아니 기세대 기우에 망고 중요했어 두구야 망고 중요했어 세상에도 다 나저기 다들 나저기 파 nieman ma ngazo samlas tawa ina da chunjun ma cha amege jambuchi pamege jambuchi so andu chene den ya chercha soso lobjong che chercha chi an soso ge chi saya re dongya re mangbu beje dang sawa res an soso ge gabuchi da chamjam droya da dine ge mangbu chungwa res dugu ya mangbu chungwa res dine ge da du samtan ne so debal ya ben mangbu shu che res wada 대지소 건데 체디낭이 소 체디기다 아 저기 디기다 롱주에다 되네 비지다 저기 시거로와
So repeating now what we looked at last week was to set the context from what we've just read, because we're in the middle of the page, in the middle of a paragraph. So that brings the context back to mind. Now we take what has been read here. At this moment you are content to eat, drink and consume, yet life, wealth and sensual objects and food just burn on and you accomplish nothing of value. So here what is being called to mind is we reflect on our life, how we have lived thus far, in particular our mental engagement thus far, what has consumed our mental activities thus far. So for all of us, many years have passed of this precious life already. The time since our birth to now, whilst varying, is quite some years. So a large portion of our human rebirth that is so precious has already been passed. And so much of our time in the sense of our mental activity has been consumed by thoughts and concerns about the achievement of mere worldly comfort, mere worldly pleasures, worldly joy. If we think of the vast number of meals that we have eaten over our life thus far, from when we were young and we were provided by our parents, up to when we were in our youth and now in our current age, most of these meals we have no recollection of whether they were delicious or whether they're just ordinary, long forgotten. Some were particularly wonderful, and we perhaps put a lot of time and energy into the planning and the preparation and for them, but that too is past, it's forgotten. And similarly, in terms of other forms of entertainment, we've talked about eating and drinking, so we would have consumed a vast array of different things, and that would have brought us some pleasure. And the striving or seeking for such pleasure is largely what has consumed a lot of our time and our energy. And so too, in terms of our relationships with others, with our family and our loved ones, this has consumed a lot of our time and our energy. And this now, all that's gone is past and is largely forgotten. And so what is being referred to here is primarily the mental attitude or the way of thinking where the mind is dominated by achieving this mere life's happiness and comfort. A mind that is very narrow in its perspective and its outlook. And that is what we're being reminded of here, how much time has been lost through this way of thinking.
미사마 디네르와다 냐마니 미망고 중요데 차상다 코로나도 세티나게 세티점기게 사야 동야당 안지게 tunsaare tunyare ane gawochiare kibuchiare deniche kalekidu mangpo jinyan nyone ane dan dene dijelia denige jungyorwa dene jungwanza michasanda nga jungnyele ya jungshegyulo tapene ngopchu gyage nyele jungshegi mitige chasando chene mi nor se sumsede mi sosugi bunjada sosugi nyengi donda an sosugi nor se de sosugi gychala sayaga donda se labdu mi saya don yagi dini don denigi jawajanyang chesine song so gang song denigi disu zobare so zo jene mi mangbuchik dade bado thoya meba shine zo songare shi songare song se de disu dine zo jene ma meba charu gore se.
And this really is the way that beings live throughout the world, striving for happiness, striving for comfort. The mind obsessed about overcoming ordinary frustrations and achieving fleeting happiness. The beings throughout the world strive just for mere worldly joys and happiness, the pleasures of samsara. And this really is the way that lives are lived. This is not the fulfillment of a life of great meaning, but rather the way we think tends to be dominated by accumulating resources that just bring very temporary comfort, cultivating relationships and connections with our family and others. And in this way, with a mind focused just on the here and now, our life has been consumed and so little of great meaning has been achieved. So here, what the text is directing our attention towards is to reflect on how we have spent our time thus far, how our mental energy has been focused, what we've been striving to achieve. And this is done to try and develop a very clear awareness of our uncontrived or natural way of thinking, the way we naturally think in the uncontrived way in which we think.
미치고랑 lia 지게 semja 소저게 ल्या가지가 여러와 되네게 제네는 곧 지게 세티자에 사야 동야래 소속 기후다야래 같이 되네게 돈나라 소속이 부든다 분야에 센데는 초보자래 되네게 규사야 되네게 삼나도 제는 최제에 개와치마 되냐게 삼바마게와지 무슨 최제하고 가면 두수 저조가 너무 중요하러와서 되네게 뒤서 저로 그래서 그래 지다 되니기 땅아 저기 지크와다 체 싱바이나다 소소가 레가 가르레베나 소소 레가 디냐냐 레가 데레 내가 저기 디 레가 레야디 소소기다 사야도야 돈다 소소기 안 수부고 있는 소소기 부zul한 랍라다야 나데니게 조소다야게 돈다 안 소소기 안 지기 자라로다 데니게 둘로 돈다 안 소소기다 그 기부체다 됐네 직제하게 세디게 디게 좀 주야게 안 세디게 동화세야 짬 장장 전에 두수수 뉴스 조르고 그래서 제가 되네게 뉴스님아 되네게 망보 되네 뉴스 조어래서 다 되네게 다 망보지 냐마 망보기 여데 지서 시선 되네 진 뉴스 조어래서 당 안조 이내 당 안조 삼다 소소한 삼다에는 소소데 냐마니 기내다 다바도도 전에 뉴스 되네 되네 조어래서 그러다 다 두두치는 삼나 땅고 그래서 그러다 되네 두치는 미션다 냐마 조 차간다 되네 삼 미션다기 ane shingpa janya, simjang sojo janya, dine ton anji laga jo chöge tawana sammadang ache, tu chen laga jo zodo mangbo ya dine zodo gore sabi samlashita. Da dine ke samdane, da nyama dadibu yanchel dine zo cawa resa. Da nga azo le soso ranga samdane, nga da dine du chen ki ne so da de bar du chen chung chung ka che dine pa me ki dine so champion che be ki wo chung ya da du lo ka nga chung ya da dine mang bu chung no so so ko wo da ta sa ya da de bar du su su du su ti so wa re sam be ki da sam su chi ge sam da dang ko re se wa da.
An effective way, perhaps, to think about this is to first turn our attention towards what we observe in the world. And what we observe from our perspective, how we see most people live their lives. We see that the way people's way of thinking is dominated by their work activities. Not just while they're at work, but often at home they're thinking about work. What their mental strength is not consumed by work, largely then goes to their family, to their loved ones, thinking about getting their kids into the right schools, getting them through schooling, ensuring they have a good education and a well-rounded education. So all these kinds of thoughts, as well as then thirdly, thoughts to do with possessions and how to have newer, nicer, better, and more. And then fourthly, a fourth area that consumes people's time then would be on relaxing, on trying to find some peace from this busyness. And so here, in this way, we can observe through people that we know and what we see generally in the world, that these areas, people's employment, their work, their family and friends and loved ones, as well as their material resources, and then entertainment, this tends to consume people's mental energy in its entirety, leaving no time to think about the Dharma, no time to think about how to live a life of meaning, or whether a life of meaning is even being lived. So that can be a starting point in one's reflection. The imperative second step then, if one does start in this way, is then to look at oneself and take these lessons that one observes outside and see that they apply to us. Some maybe not as much, but others maybe more so, but they all apply to us. We need to look at our lives and see how our time and our energy has been consumed by activities which are merely geared to this life's comfort, this life's pleasure. And a key result to come to here is a feeling of disenchantment as a life of consumption, and consumption in a broad sense, consumption of one's time and mental energy being consumed by something that doesn't lead to a goal of great meaning. And that is the kind of outcome to come to, a sense of disenchantment at a life spent in consumption.
Kiti kewa lemba mi kewa kazi lemba ina nyama kewa lemba ina di kabli ina di zamji ina digi tuya da dunga siya jawa janya jeche ina kishor yakpa ma cheba inza tarpa da tamchi kimbe tarpa topma tawa chi kowa tila ma tarwa che dada budu la sha sam an se dela sam tawa ina du chen che tsiba ten ime na dada bardu ngi ane kachi ke kowa tarpa da tamchi kimbe kowa toya ki lamliya nyamle ma cheba che Dadi bardu tsedinange jawa tsamliadu sus chibe peche chine dusit mangu zosha sambeki dinige samda. Dine samda ne da dine nipa dila da nge sikduwa da da nge tse lama gangye dila che shama chi ches. Da jizan da nga dadu me shiba che dadi bardu du la shas. Dine yinzan nge da nga kaze dwe ki nima kaze na dawa lodang kaze yue na da dwe la yorwa dwe ma shi dwe la yorwa. Jine then dwe ring del ya dangi che shama chi chesan che ya pui da bo chi yin su da da dingi ga ze ni me da wa da lo da nga de ga ze la ye we ne da di ring li yang che pe ma se ya bu shi chi yin sin on du chi ne so so dam ja ma so ne de ne ge sam da je dam ja je go le so.
Reflection then can start with taking what we observe in others, and then progressing to the second step of looking at how it applies to oneself, and looking with sincerity and honesty. And then thirdly, we remind ourselves that this way of thinking where one is primarily concerned by worldly happiness, the achievement of worldly happiness and overcoming of mundane problems, this is a way of thinking that we have brought into this life from past lives. In other words, this is how we've been acting from life to life to life, dominated just by the concerns of this life. And it is therefore, so going through those three steps, we will come to see that this is the reason that we remain bound in this prison of samsara. This way of thinking is why we have not attained our longed-for freedom from the sufferings of samsara. And here we're trying to bring ourselves to have an appreciation for this vast amount of time that has passed pursuing things that have no lasting value, no great benefit. And this should give us a sense of disenchantment, a sense of fatigue for having continued around and around again in samsara. And that then takes us to the next line in the text. This brings us to the result that one fully directs whatever remains of your life to genuine Dharma practice. So this is the outcome we're wanting to come to in the meditation. We start by reflecting others, then onto ourselves, and back into past lives, seeing how we've continued in this way, and this is why we remain bound in samsara, leading to a sense of fatigue at this continued circling, leading us to make a promise to ourselves to from now commit to living a life of meaning, to cultivating minds of Dharma and keeping them ever present in our minds.
Shen la pemba tuyare, sosugi gom nyamlin cheyare, sosugi che treba cheyare, sam di duandala samya, anu gom jayagi chasa, da gogabdi, dendele che tuyagi, den chaba chen sosule, lu dendele yode top de shas, da dinga den pemas den chaba chen re shas. Dinza da de baudu, ane lo mangbo chine chung chung je ga wis samji mewa che la ji lo de ne chi chla chi den chaba chen ji top de yorde be che dang ma to wa ji du se den zo shas. Da ya ji lo jang ju ni ya de so so sam da de le den di ge lo ya ji lo ji lo chung chung je de ne gi to ne che nyam len je go gap da ma ra wa da de ne gi jian jian de so so la an che nyam le je ge wa ji sa ya de ya bu chung min dus. Ne da di para de ya jin di pa na ma go sa yo ba da ne so so ge lam ga pa so ro de bu mong bo so ge ne jing sam sam mi sha le chi su pye ya da shan je kong lo la ya la so ba da shan le gyun je che ya la so ba da de ne lu nga yi sum yo go ne di pa ne pe mong bo sa yo res che sa da na da de sel ha ma dil ya ge ge wi ya go chi ma tu ba che shi so ba ina da dene pesa sa se kasen diba mangbo nyama diba sa ge wa chi ma ane chue nyam ne ya bo chi ma shi ba ne pesa sa res dene zang yi de da che gang yu ha ma di gang yu ba de lu du se ka chi ye be na de le yang yi ji dipong ge ru ge wa ya bo tu ya dang diba nyama ge sa se be diba ro sin de su ya ane che ge sa pa jang ya dang ane ge wa sa ya da nyam ne je de da ya bo chi da bo de chi ya sam be ge du chen ne sam lu de yang ne dang go le che xue xia ma chi che se de de yang ne yang do sam dang gong bo sam dang go le chi san de yang ne yang do sam da wa na sam lo de ne nu xu che zhu go le xiu re.
This string of meditations that we've been looking at again tonight and over the last months brings us to the point where we have an appreciation for the preciousness of this rebirth and what can be achieved. So we're sitting here in our meditation with an understanding that we have the suitable basis to live a life of great meaning, a life where we can spiritually progress, we can study teachings, receive teachings, and meditate on them effectively, transforming our way of thinking in this way spiritually progress. So we have that appreciation, and now in this section, we see the impermanent nature of this opportunity. So in this meditation that's been described tonight, one is reflecting on how much time in this life has already passed. And as we saw last week and the week before, and if in those meditations that you would have been doing over these last couple of weeks, this life will certainly end. It is definite that it will end, and it could end at any time. When our life will end is completely uncertain. So how much of this life remains is uncertain. But a lot of time has passed. This we know. So furthermore, what we're doing in this meditation is we're taking an honest and a realistic look at our life thus far. And for all of us, there was a period of time, for some quite long, before one met the Dharma. And even having met the Dharma, there was been a lengthy period of time before the Dharma had a great impact on one's mind. And in that period, for sure, one's way of thinking would have been dominated by achieving worldly happiness, overcoming worldly problems, and thereby one would have accumulated so much negativity, whether it's through killing insects, arguing with loved ones, arguing with those one doesn't like, having a strong attachment and desire, being jealous. All of this behavior that would have been considered normal in society, that too would have played a large part in our way of thinking, and thereby we would have accumulated a lot of non-virtue. So in the meditation that we are doing here, the point we're coming to is we've come to this clear understanding that we need to change how we live our life through changing our way of thinking. And the way the outcome should come to is an understanding that I need to keep my mind on virtue and thereby accumulate positive karma, as well as purify previously accumulated non-virtue. But to merely come to this understanding in meditation is insufficient, because that's an understanding that's very easy to come to based on just even hearing this presentation. But one needs to come to this reflection, come to this conclusion through repeated meditation over a sustained period, because that then will have a transformative impact on our way of thinking. That then will serve to give us the sufficient strength of mind that when we see our mind is going in a non-virtuous direction, we pull it back to virtue, because we want to accumulate virtue and purify negativities. So therefore, it's imperative that we cultivate what we have here in the text, a genuine Dharma practice, which refers to a mind that is always placed on virtue, a mind that's always placed on the Dharma.
Bendigo chen number that was she said, and the Bendigo chair they young so that there and the chen number that was chena and the chair was she yamne yako chicken slava that chena and the gidich in that lot jemaduadan lokashi chillich in the tigri slana the yam has a young diring in a jewe yamba sir. 지나 게디죠 로 제마도와제 디냐레가도 수지 차선 제와사데 로 제마제마스는 뒤서 장도 보레스 지나 디바라들 다디 게디치 녀바요 마르와스 메반상 디린 파다 데니 디린 파 최는 바다와제 디린 방에 고수제 냠네 지인스베 삼당 고레제 대양 디린 이네 제고에 냠바 자오버스 디린 파랑 지인스베 다 디린 고수제 냠네 남바다와제 디린 마 고수 인스베 고수 고레스.
The paragraph then ends with, "Do this from today onward, not from tomorrow, for death may strike tonight." This is a conclusion that one comes to in this meditation. And it's imperative that we engage in this meditation repeatedly so that this arises within us in a transformative way. Because we need to overcome the strong habituation that has led us to prioritize all these worldly activities that dominate our mental energy. And we need to turn away from this, we need to abandon this way of thinking that leads us to easily be deceived by the thought that my life is impermanent, it will end, I need to accumulate virtue, but right now I'm a little busy. Right now I have these tasks which have to be accomplished, they are of great importance. This mistaken way of thinking needs to be overcome. We need to apply our minds to the Dharma from now. Because as it says here, we need to do this from today onwards, not from tomorrow, for death may strike tonight.
최대 다된 제고도 선배 삼로디 숙체계약이 뉴베계약이 돈달 시고르와 지상 시주구리다 기디싱 해봐요 말에 지상 네 시원은 다 쳐버려 지상 기디싱 해봐요 말 시위긴 먹고 쉬고 그랬어 지상 선배끼인데 뉴뉴레스 라고도 되네 삼도 오다 지상 최념는 야고증에 다되는 맞은다 아니 기디싱 해봐 상이나 시선에 되는가 최제념 맞지야 말하지 시선다 뺏어서래 선배게 삼로디 지난 디용야게 돈달라 계획한테 최다되는 지긴 세비 삼로디 숙청보지 뉴바 숙처를 계획에 돈달라 치원에 다바산 치원에 봐 남친에메 치위긴 망고여를 셰셰고 비김전들이
Taking in what you heard tonight and then in the previous 2 weeks on this topic, you see how this has developed to this point where we spoke previously about how this precious life will end, that our death is certain. All of the powerful people in the past, all of the greatly intelligent, all of those who have done phenomenal things with their lives, they've all died, and so too will we. And it's not only that our death is certain, but our time of death too is uncertain. There are very few causes for sustaining our life, but there are so many that can bring it to an abrupt end. And through engaging in those two reflections repeatedly brings us to this point here of where our mind turns towards the Dharma. Because it's those two reflections that cut off our attraction to transient and meaningless activities, causes our mind to turn towards the Dharma with a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose. This then is the outcome that we're striving to get to in this meditation, to give our mind a great strength to apply ourselves to virtue, a great strength to break non-virtuous ways of thinking, non-virtuous habitual ways of thinking, and develop virtuous habitual ways of thinking.
다디니게 삼다도 아다디니게 취절 어다한테 간줄에 가르 삼록 연구에서 어다하다 취념는 제나 나 지게 다들 레가라 정우로 마사나 제려서 돈이나 강아티게 삼배 삼보다 내 나서 주나 줘서 나야라고 말해서 삼배 삼보다 아 지금 소속에 맨에 쪼고 차기를 삼배 삼로다 아 지금 이제 두스네 삼다이가 남도로 리고로 봐 진짜 디네에 안디 맞다 나강아 튀기래가 기운고 말해 나리야 안지기 두스네 나 저기 두스데데 델야 아주 제비 냠는 시고로 와 제비 냠는 델라 안에 네바 그 소리 신이 네바를 제바 그 소리 신이 네바 지난 델라서 거미야 한 소설 약강아 테나 최냠는 제알량에 강아 같이 현래 편바다 기위 냠는 제발라 강아 같이 테나 강아들 지기 강아들 쇠긴 쓰는 강아 마삼바체 강아 다울렌지 레갈리긴 셈비 냠는 지기 셈비데 동아 다랭이 쇠바시그로와 동아 당돌레바 당아 냠는 제알 강아 조도나게 냠는 지긴 다 고가 야보데 다 지금 수불을 강아 체베나게 지기 미 통충어라 같이 가르나 교교래 직신문도 갈라베네 당아 하나 최냠는 제알 갈란당이디 델야 마셈바체 지긴 셈비 삼당에도 그래서 안에 동아 당랭이 쇠바세도 쇠비염을 자르고 그래 Jizanda Denigi Chu Chidu Kablia Gangavan, Chu Yamlin Chair, Chiravan, the Kyoduya, Sosugi, Gavit, Yamlin Chair, the Pay, Yapore, Tating a Gangazuna, Denigi Yamlin Chair, Gangazuna, Gangan Masambache, the Ganga the Sued, Yamlin Chickens and Sambana, Nane Karsore. Gawa tanto limpe seba sigurwa jisa dine gawa tanto limpe seba ne kasore dunga tanto limpe seba da ane chele jimen limpe seba sia chi sigure de jimen limpe seba jisa kaso neba le jimen limpe seba an dunga tanto limpe seba chele ngesimi seba sigure seba sumyorwa jisa shengi neba le chebe de chel delia pa konrma cheba jine ane neba le jimen limpe seba koyada Suzuki Jella Pembe Javadan gave Jawa Dubala Sosolia and the Luda Ganga Kazuyana, Lusim Ganga Gangatil Mazembache, Jiggin Sempe Subakia de Dunga Darling Suba, and Galakazi Nimetsawe gets in a Gazekana, the Jiggin says, Jorwada, Diniki, Dunga Darling Suba. It's not a chain Yamnichevala Kalazna, the Nigi Yamnicher, Bay Apore, the Niji, they do Kalala Mazemba Yamni Chicken Sibasambana, and the Cholang Yesimi Sevas, the Nigi Yamnichi Kabla, Subi Yamni, the Niga Sam Dangorva, the Neza, the Subi Yamnichakore, and Suvala Shekwa Sedirwa.
When one comes to this conclusion in one's meditation, this conclusion that from now it's imperative that I live a life of great meaning, and one has the correct understanding that that means that one needs to have one's mind applied to the Dharma, one's mind mind virtuous at all times, whatever one's doing, and when one's mind goes in a negative direction, a harmful direction, that one is skillful and brings one's mind back to virtue. So having come to this conclusion, one will also have some doubt about to apply myself to the Dharma does mean engaging in some difficulties. For example, not everyone in society accepts what I do. Some people will criticize what I do. Some people will put me down, talk badly about me. Also, if I'm putting much more energy into for example, receiving teachings and reflecting on these or doing retreats, then I'm going to have less time to earn a lot of money and be surrounded by material comfort. So one may well have some thoughts like this, and it's good to have these thoughts, it's good to have the doubts and then to think through them. Because this then brings us to the varying types of patience that need to be practiced. So the practice of patience is a mind that stays undisturbed in the face of adversity. So generally speaking, there are three sources that the adversity comes from. The one that we're most familiar with is the difficult circumstances that arise in our encounters with others. And there one needs, with the practice of patience, is one's mind remaining spacious and calm and peaceful despite how others are relating to one, and thereby enabling one to be skillful in one's response. The second source is to do with one's own inner turmoil, and not then being deceived by or overcome by one's own inner turmoil. So the first is to do with outer, the second is to do with one's own way of thinking and being skillful with that. And the third is applying patience in our Dharma practice. So when we're encountering obstacles and difficulties in our Dharma practice, keeping a mind that is undisturbed in the face of that adversity, and thereby not being overwhelmed. So the result of the practice of patience is that one does not become overwhelmed by adverse circumstances, whether from others, from within oneself, or whilst engaging in the Dharma. So this is something that we then need to reflect on, because these are obstacles we will continue to engage in. So the first is the patience of disregarding harm from others, keeping our mind undisturbed and peaceful. The second is patience of willingly accepting suffering. So this is the inner turmoil. When we having difficulty, inner difficulty, and then being patient with that. In other words, not being overwhelmed by that. And the third type of patience again then is that of where one has, through a conviction in the Dharma, one's mind remains spacious and calm. In other words, whatever obstacles one needs to endure for one's Dharma practice, one does so with ease. So, for example, if one is studying or meditating and one's a little bit hungry, it's just some suffering that's arising. It's not so much. Keep on the practice, and later, when your session is complete, then solve that problem. But don't be too easily swayed or disturbed by mundane problems. So here one then comes to the reflection on patience in terms of the three sources of potential mental disturbance.
Chigi kien chinangi barshe mungu yungure teniki chi barshe nangi barshe teni yungure teni yenza an delia an chik shengi nyoba chikin yoba an delia sebo kompa lama sebo kom chingi chue nyamne nga chue geju dhruya laya teni shengi nyoba chinangi sebo kom tupna yaksho re samche tsusuki ngi ti sebo kom teni nga pao yin samche an sebo komi nyamne chiya ta an chigi and so saya dunya da dinigi chue mi chewe kablia da kumbura chawe na o dati nga dinigi chue nyamlen che raba dinigi kale shana gago sho marade li chue nyamlen yabo majewa che nga saya dunya gi dinigi kanga tu so to ade shara mare tu sima tu mare da dinigi nyamlen che mara che ma idala ke sona ro tong ra ma bo ro to ande dile dugure was anyewa gene dile dugures na so la kena dile du dinigi za ma de nyamlen chebe kalwa dinigi kanga thena 가고 싶어 말씀드린 등이 강하는 냠네 sö기 sö버kom야다 아디치 오다딩가 강아도 샤샤긴 선배게 삼 되게 마다지 sö베 냠네지야 안 되게 취해지디 걸야 지 갈래래 칸에 셈래 지 사야도야다 미 네버기엔 thân 강아 매나야 소소라다 아댕이 신기 민도 선배다 댕아 강아도 선배 삼도 여번 제려 오다 되게 다들 봐도 마신 와제 강아도 두두 전에 하진 다들 봐도 마신 걸 하바지 다 이런 거 예디 갑이야 네 셈슈신의 장기 선배 냠는 지긴 선배 삼다제 다 gelegi 직도 지기 선배야 될야 되게 거라 빼면서 약으로 다디 나 바오 인스타디 디니 제라도 거기 하고 싶은 삼제 난 두스네야 소스라 셈슈 게제 안 두스자야 돼 당한 저기 냠는 장고야 돼 삼로디 땅고야 돼 게치 뭐 차고로
In this meditation, when one comes to the conclusion of the meditation, which is that from now on, whatever remains of this life, I will ensure I engage in Dharma practice. And here, bearing in mind that the literal meaning of the word practice is to gain experience of. So in other words, I will spend the rest of this life gaining experience of the Dharma. When one comes to this conclusion in the meditation, then engage in the meditation on patience in relation to whatever outer obstacles one encounters, as well as inner obstacles one encounters. Through the strength of mind that one has developed in this meditation, first on the preciousness of this life and then on its impermanence of this life, one is now developing a heroic way of thinking. And this heroic way of thinking, this great inner strength of mind, we need to apply to the problems and difficulties that we experience. We use our wisdom and we reflect that I will experience problems. For this we can be sure because I have a lot of experience of experiencing problems. Throughout this life and previous lives, problems have rained down upon me. So now that I've done this meditation well, I can say with certainty my problems have not and will not disappear. They will come again. But what is going to be different this time is I'm going to be skilled in how I deal with them. So through changing my focus of my life, whatever obstacles I encounter, for example, I may have a little less wealth, some friendships or some acquaintances that I'd maintained, maybe I will lose. But these are all minor. I am now going to rather be focused on a greater goal, rather going to be focused on becoming a being that can be of great benefit to others. And if I experience problems, or when I experience problems, I'll look at that in a more realistic manner, so as not to be overwhelmed by them. When I'm a little bit hungry, compared to the suffering of others, especially those in the lower realms, the suffering of hunger is nothing compared to what many spirits experience. And for example, and furthermore, so whatever problems then I encounter, now with the strength of mind, I'm going to use this to ensure that I'm not overwhelmed by these problems. Because if I'm overwhelmed by them, I will not be able to continue my Dharma practice, because my mind will be taken from virtue to suffering, to non-virtue. So therefore, I'm rather going to respond to difficulties in a heroic manner, in a skilled manner, seeing that the practice of patience is the most skillful way of dealing with problems. And a further step in the meditation, which is also important, because we're developing a strength of mind, and to enable us to spiritually progress rapidly, one needs strength of mind. Having reflected on patience, then one rejoices in one's spiritual accomplishment, rejoices in the virtue that has been accumulated in this meditation, rejoice in the strengthening of one's virtuous minds, rejoice in the virtue that has previously been accumulated. And all this is done so as to add ever more strength to our mind.
소소야 녀버샤 기투고 말와 기투고 데네게 삼모지 데리 miel는 곰시 데리 매바네 데네가 아트도 데네 파코라야다 다 코라라다 아니 코라 미 현다지 제반 데레바 코라 란자다 투보자 차고래 안 소소기 지지도 다 데네 뒤투사마라 깔레슈도 디샤샤데 데게 냠는지 딘바 도세데 데네 두시네 차로와 데리면 나본도 진짜 삼로다도 진짜 디제고 데네 제고 제고서 삼든 지나 선비가 삼로도 가제 슈체 차베네 데리아디 아주 몽고래 숨교래 데라 세비오 고차시데 도로를 마서나 아주 마로도 자게 도로 못 담어 데리세베네 다다 천적에는 수마로 디나신지 아니 제시 시월라 침베가를 송구들람나 사실 차상 자게 세게 체마도 강되베이나 아니 아주 사실 차상한테 가되베네 내가 되네 로고도 강벌로 수사를 제가도 매워 쏘고 쓰면 쇠나 쇠 차요 말했어 대직 쇠나 파줘요 파줘 지용 쇠 차요 말했어 아주 미치기 쇠 차요 말 된자 쇠 마사나 좋아요 말 와서 한때라 가르쳐고를 탑시 가르쳐야라나 소소 한국들이야 한국 독보티 독과라기 티들이야 투부 차고 휴직 한국야 어디 세베나 한국의 권샤베나 람 사지들이야 체마다 자게 세마 가지도나 공부하자 좋아하시는 소소를 주보지 내고 말했어 맨날 내기 建데 망고 여더래서 이나양 소소기 숨급디 야고여 봐서 소소 주보 내고 말했어 비디나지래서 치 강한 쇠해 소수기 되니기 튕겨도네 강한 넘시도네 강한 안 되니 용거를 때 소수기 삼로 나려 쇠비 냠네 숙천보지 쇠비 냠네 두신 삼다제 되니기 쇠바 공기 심비게 삼로 딩한 저기 장도를 치는 공바시 검시 여바 있나 아니 소소리 약간 같이 말했어 그래서 되니 인자 니기 냠네 제디 계시무시 우리에서 오래
The meditation on patience and then the strengthening of the mind through rejoicing. This we can see we can do this in a way that's a preliminary for our day ahead. Because for sure, we will encounter problems, whether from others, whether from our own inner turmoil, or in our engaging in the Dharma. So what we're trying to do with this stage of the meditation is take this inner strength and form it like armor around us, to give us the great strength to have skill in dealing with life's difficulties and relating to the difficult experiences or interactions that we'll have with others or with our own inner turmoil, so as not to be overwhelmed, but rather to be able to be skillful. We can do this then in our meditation. Perhaps if we look at what lies ahead of us in that day, what situations we'll encounter, and role play what we may well encounter, and think of how to be skillful about it, how to ensure our mind stays undisturbed and virtuous, and how we can be of benefit in those situations. And in this way, we're using the strength of mind, so that later in the day, when we do encounter difficult circumstances, that we can be skilled with that. Whether it's with an individual, or whether we know that we have a habitual way of thinking that is harmful, perhaps a lot of criticism and so forth, we can prepare ourselves so that when we we encounter such a situation, then we can apply our training in meditation, transform that situation. So here I'm reminded of a verse from Shantideva where he talks in the chapter on patience about how if the world is covered by thorns, wherever someone walks, they will experience tremendous pain. So they have an option to try and sweep the entire world, but that really is ineffective. The easiest method is just to wear shoes, and they will experience then no discomfort, no unease at all. And that here refers to the practice of patience. Through the consistent cultivation of these virtuous minds, whatever difficult circumstance one encounters, one can remain spacious and calm and deal with the situation effectively and beneficially. So this too can be incorporated in this meditation.
Dangi said Lama got a chair number of chicken, the Dirin Pachigins be some dangores. And the Garres and Dirin Pachigins be some down of Jumza Garelana. Carasene, she ona Chivi, Che Mato, Gangi can be penna, and she was a Chida pants. Ona, Chivi, Che Mato, Gangi can be pen. Jeza DJ what the cousin. She had to Nimichi, she do it. She drove and Gawachi and Gawasaba, the Gawadi kid do it. She's in Gawajabana, Digi Pingors, Gawadiki, cousin Gawachima, Mason, the Tajel, Hadami go out of 2 words. Gawachi, Hadami go on top 2 words. She never check over Marashini Chikiawach Lingo. There is a Chiki Matoshe, Diba Jaban, Digi, Mason Marti, Duan, she's a social new years. She said, Gewa Jabana, Gewa Diletene, and Gewa Malada Mukovan top to Gore, Tada Mukovan to be Tindelia, Chenium, Yapochiada, and Sosole Digion to Gore, Jetan Kiwi Pingores, Jetan Chivice, Chemado, Gangi can be Venas, Chemado, Chemba Gangi, Pingimare, Gujalana, Pingimare, Wachichaboyana, Pingimare, and Cormaboyana, Pingimare, Gavoyana, Pingimare, La Roi, Jetan Dineza, Chemado Pingmares. Mevenan, she will do Chigi, the Penchug, and his finger Pandoc and the Chago Resi.
The Gondakaran
she will say Chimado, Gangi, and Mipena, she will say Chigi, their pants.
What has just been presented then is an illustration of how, through preparing well in our meditation, we have the basis that throughout the day we keep our mind on the Dharma. Throughout the day, we engage in Dharma practice. Because then whatever we're engaging in, our mind is being kept on virtue, kept away from the afflictions, kept on virtue. So this then is an illustration on how to take our Dharma practice into our daily life and ensure that the mind of the Dharma remain dominant throughout our day. And returning then explicitly to the text, you may ask if with the exception of Dharma, nothing helps at the time of death, then how does Dharma help? Well, in brief, in the context that we're looking at here, we've come to see the preciousness of this life and its impermanence. We then know that this precious opportunity will end, and it doesn't end in oblivion. Rebirth follows. And whether that rebirth is another pleasant rebirth like we've achieved now, or a suffering rebirth in the lower realms, depends on the strength of the virtue or non-virtue on our continuum. Therefore, it's imperative for our own happiness and our own ability to be of benefit to others, that we use what remains of this life well. We use it to accumulate virtue and ensure that we create ever stronger causes for not just mere happiness, but for our spiritual progression and our spiritual development, so that we can be of an ever greater benefit to others. And the paragraph concludes, and how does non-Dharma harm? So the two questions were, how does Dharma help, and how does non-Dharma harm? The answer comes now in the final paragraph on the 19th page. At death, you do not simply evaporate. So here this is quite clear from what has been said before. This life will end. And when it ends, one immediately takes rebirth again. And that rebirth can only be one of two directions. A pleasant migration such as we've achieved now, or a suffering migration. It's only those two options. And that is dependent on how this life has been lived. di topche den delia ane chen tepache donda samdang gom nyamlim chen mato ane nga song den le kesona che je ko bra samare de jan ya pando shi she ga samda wai ne ane dun nga song den le ke de na jan la pando che to ya min do je za su su gi je za shen le pen bi ja wo zu wai ne ya ane
사람 미고 화 토반에 된 캬바신 토반에 된데라 현래 팬비게 자와지 두도 대인자 현심전의 팬비 주야당 현심전의 동화세게 된다라야 미 아니 개와치 말하다 미고가 토고도 현심전 동화세야당 디기주야라 탈신 버전이라 아니 소소라는 게 냠내 야고치 마죠바나 아니 소소기 녀모 빵제 아니 냠내 야고치 마도바네 현래 팬바게 주치 두사말 제 대인자 라니기 냠내 야고 용고도 디 냠내 야고 용한테 사다 미고방 된 캬바치 마톱나 아니 디니엔자 냠내 야고치 투사말 디엔자 냠내 소소 타바다 탐제 kimbe 토비기 냠내 자주 셈 나동요 토베 따와 파신주기 냠내 제발라야 된 캬바친 사다 미고방 토고도 현래 팬바두발라야 사다 미고방 토고도 현이 동화세야라 사다 미고방 토고 디엔장에 개와치마 현기 디기주에 동화세야 디돈달라 라니게 아니 차바치미 취냠는제네 산요고마 토야게 된달라 아니 된 차바친 타다 개와치마 사람이고바 토바지 대연산 디링기 다 디네자 디니기 토바지 규딩이 디리는 바지기스 디리는 바냠는 지기스 어디 셈쇼게 다 디리는 바냠는 지야데 가라선 수름 써야 돼 지상은 저기 룽아 유스미고네 야쇼가네 야랑 디링이 룽아 유스미고네 샬은 네베 자와서 자원이 지금에 선배게 아주게 제야다 아니 저기 랍조이네 아주게 상이기 제바 손시바 제사야고 손투와 지긴 선배 삼다야다 디샤고로와 아니 데네게 손네 데네게랑 동외 선배 진배 냠랭가 미 룽아 유스음 개와다 제바 차상 샬레 펴바 동아 세야다 디기듬라 땅기 선배 삼다야도 미디 세나 지금에 세나 지금에 세나 마지막 차상 땅기 선배 삼다야도 세나 지금에 삼바도 수준이다 디야 수회 선배 세나 송고로와 수회 선배 수준을 막 보여 지금 막 보여 진짜 수준서 진배 땅기 세비치도 슈라 네 세나 지금에 선배 삼리고 수준 리고래 진짜 수배 냠는 지기 있었다니 대지 수바시바네 생균여바기야 소소 강아 최님을 이 수배님을 하고 지 선배 삼다도 전 셈샹이야 파 콘을 견다 파 견주지에게 파 갑대주에게 셈바도 순고로와 수배님을 모습 냠녀도 네가래 샹래 녀바기야다 되니 갑대주에 셈을 순고를 그래서 들 수르미안 리고래 수배 셈바 리고래 무슨 수바샤고래 디 슈라 수tum 리고래 안냐 지금 준주 냠내지다 기회 자원이 배우다 받아 배야 보래 되는 자리 하고 싶더니 가신 조시원의 냠내지기세 제여도 되니게 삼다에도 슈라 가서 레로 숨고로 레로 기주면서 레로 숨고로 수르메 디고래 준주 냠내지도 딜리고래 자다 되는 지나가는 저기 누전의 님들의 되네 삼다 아니 될야 아니 지금 저기 군노한테 자주 셈나는 잠니제 자고로 바라들 되니게 계주 두비에 삼나 당기라 디바라데 되니게 미 셈제 되니게 냠내 지야 셈제 탐제 디기 두비에 동화 세야치 이아삼 셈제 탐제기 된다 산유 토비치 인삼 되니게 삼다 바라바라 되니게 삼다바이나 아주 느껴와디 랍침부차다 예침부차고 내가 냠내 지야데 다지 망고시나 마시나 라란다 오소 라란다 다가라레 디마도 잔다 대지 지 나서 동화 되네 니외 동화 되네 치와미다바 되네 강아 되네 삼당고를 써야 돼 삼로디 미니 겨와치마 최되니기 삼로께 되니 수치무 깨게 된다라 다 야구 매바디 시고 야구도 매바 시에 야가디리스도 디 야가 두아레 시에도 야가도 되니게 된다라 시고로와 진짜 디 되니게 가르스는 시고로서 되니 시 주무지 제바나 디모서 자활에 베즈 제용으로와 자와 베즈 제용도 자와 베즈 제야 호롱다 개왕문에 람 냠는 오늘 냠는려 주고로와 진짜 디 냠는 제에게 된다라 운노 슈치모 되니 슈치모 깨오래서디 디시와 대다 군노 되니 슈치모 깨게 된다라 사담미 깨와지마 사담미 고방 토되게 되니 사모 슈치 깨 된다라 나솔에 깨네 디네네다 델레케네 디네요다 세 어두스네 강아디기 시고래 어두스 군노데 조고 깨게 된다라 아니 치와미다 바래 기디싱해봐 요마다스 안디르 상이시 나이시 하고 요마다스 시고로와 그래서 디시에 차사 깨와치마 되니게 하다미 고방 토되게 군노데 깨야 디군노 슈치모 깨야 되는 땐들이야 계주르야게 타바다 탐제kimbe 라제니기 치도 타바다 탐제kimbe Geshe Thubten Rabten Shigore. Geshe Thubten Garelane, Jimba Surim Server 20 something, Sharap, Dinangolia, Madubiki, Shalamalo Yomare. This would get Chimuchagore. The neg do some dana some tide, comedy, Diana, and do some Dankora Jagome. Then also, so Lalenta, Lalenta, also Lalenta. Then there's some not dying thing to share. Yechmudi to answer.
Kerang Jimpaki Kola Suna, Nede Komasong. Kerang Senaki Kola Sung Song in a
Jimba Tangin Sena Jigme Sibilo, Segura, Yedi Charadi called Jiggins a bit, some of the Kyodu, Charad or Jigme Sena Sungor. Jimba Tangin Sena Jigme some Goro, Cheda Sena Sungor. So Sena Jigme somebody Sena Sungor, Cheda Disurum Chagger.
Jimpaki Kola Sung Mepe.
Jimba Tangin said some also Jimba sometime the Shula Sutim Yamle Ligore, the deny Jimbi Yamle also chair the Shula Sutim Yamle Ligore. Person Jimba Yamle, Patangin sometime. Sena Jigme some Shul Ligor, also the Sena Jigme some Tango Mate, also tied Patangin some Tangoro. The Shula Sena the Sun, tis the Sena Sun and the Sutim Yamle de Ligoro. Tis a drinking Yamle chair to Lelo Jigmes, Shula, Lelo Sungoro, Chesa Lelo Sung, Surim Ligore. Seven Yaman Cheo, Shalandua, some of the Tangio Mara Sungoro, Chesa Surim Yaman Ligore, Seven Yaman Surim Yaman Ligore, Tundin Yaman Surim Chazan Ligore, Koshula Ligore.
It's quite a bit, I just need to remind myself where we started. That's our time together tonight has now come to an end. This too is impermanent. And now we come to the final part, which is where we summarize what we looked at tonight. So we often talk about living a life of meaning or living a meaningful life. And what that means in essence, or in its briefest form, is that whatever we do, we do through having a mind that is placed on the various topics of the Dharma. In other words, where the various minds of the Dharma are present and dominant within one, and thereby one engages in one's varying activities. And this is a life of the Dharma, a life lived in harmony with the Dharma. So the trainings that we've been looking at now for some time, in these 19 pages, are about developing a great strength of mind, which comes about through refocusing our attention, through changing what we value, what we hold as important. We've looked at a number of different topics. Most recently, or a little while ago, we looked at the precious human rebirth. And there we came to see why this human life we have, is precious. And we looked at this from a variety of aspects, and through having gone through those meditations, one will have come to a point of valuing this opportunity that we have achieved. And that ties in directly then with the topic of now, that we're looking at now, the impermanence of this opportunity. This class is impermanent. Our opportunity to cultivate our knowledge of the Dharma and reflect on it is impermanent. This very life will end. And we need to, in this topic that we're now at the third week of, gain that great certainty that this life will end. And gaining certainty of this means it has an impact on our way of thinking. And this then gets conjoined with the understanding that the time of our death, that is uncertain. And these two need to be brought about together, and brought about in a way that completely, that has an overwhelming impact on us. Because through these reflections we've been doing thus far, our priorities, our values will have been affected. Now, with this meditation, we're adding great strength to this, and the strength is needed because whatever our Dharma goals are, to achieve them one needs strength of mind. If one is a practitioner focusing on a good rebirth, one can't be lost in the joys and distraction of this life, and then every now and then give rise to the thought of, I need to accumulate virtue for next life. That way of thinking is too weak. Let alone if one's thinking about attaining liberation from suffering in its entirety, or if one has the aspiration to become a bodhisattva, who wants to have the skill to lead all beings to develop their own enlightenment, attain their own enlightenment. To actually become a bodhisattva, one needs great strength of mind, and to have such strength of mind, one needs to value this life, seeing that this opportunity we have is precious, and we need to continue achieving them, and we need to ensure we accumulate those causes now. So to have such strength of mind requires effective reflection on these topics. Hence, it's something that has been looked at in great depth, so as to give everyone time to cultivate these within oneself and develop some experience of this before moving on. Hopefully then what is becoming clearer is it's through these meditations done repeatedly over a sustained period, we start to change our values and our perspective and add strength to this mind. And this strength comes about with a new conviction. And with this understanding of what a meaningful life is and how to live it, then our mind naturally turns towards what is important, what we value, the Dharma. Here with this strength of mind then, we are then ready to come down to what is, if we take this vast array of Buddhist teachings and condense them, they come down to the 6 trainings of the 6 practices of ethical conduct, generosity, patience, choice, perseverance, concentration and wisdom on the basis of love and compassion. To engage in those meditations with this basis of reflecting on the precious human rebirth and the impermanence of this life, we then have strength of mind that we can develop these minds of ethics and so forth in a very powerful way. Because when we have valued this life that we have, we will want to accumulate the causes, and the main cause is having an ethical outlook, having this commitment that I will not harm others. This is it. It's a mind, an attitude that commits to not harming others through our behavior and our way of thinking. And with the understanding of impermanence, we know I have to develop this mind and be vigilant that this mind stays present and I don't come to an unethical way of thinking, a way of thinking that brings harm to others. So through effectively meditating on the preciousness of our life and the impermanence of it, an ethical outlook, this commitment not to harm, naturally arises within us, and with the strength of mind to make this ever stronger. And furthermore, those who are ordained, and those also who are non-ordained but who have vows, will be very clear that these vows need to be guarded. These vows of great value are precious, because it's through guarding them well, I continue to create the causes to ensure I have a good rebirth and can continue my spiritual development and be of ever greater benefit to others. And through our changing of priorities, our re-evaluation of what is meaningful in our life, we change our attitude towards our resources. We develop a mind of abandonment, a mind of renunciation, where we're turning away from worldly things, mundane things. And we start to relate to our possessions in a different way, seeing that our attachment to them binds us in suffering. Rather, if we relate to them as a cause of joy and happiness for others, they become a source of liberation for myself and others. With such an attitude, we don't get so tied up in desire, and we naturally get drawn towards the mind of generosity and away from the mind of miserliness. With mind of miserliness, to understand it correctly, overcoming the mind of miserliness is actually a practice of ethical conduct. Because the ethical conduct is a mind of God, where we guard ourselves from non-virtue. Miserliness is a selfish mind, a non-virtuous mind. Generosity is the wish to give, the wish to help, the wish to be of benefit to others, not only through material assistance, but assisting through our skills and our talents and whatever abilities we have, to help others with their burden of suffering, to help others achieve lasting happiness. So this wish to give to others, this comes about in dependence on a powerful mind, a strong mind, and that strength of mind comes about through these reflections here, on death and impermanence and a precious human rebirth. And as these two minds of ethics and generosity grow ever stronger within us, this wish not to harm, this wish to be of benefit, that practice of patience we heard about tonight, this comes about with ever greater ease. Because when we're faced with adversity, whether from inner turmoil or from others or in our Dharma practice, wanting to be of benefit to others, not wanting to harm others, will keep our mind spacious, will protect us from engaging in a way that brings harm, in responding to others in a harmful way, or being overwhelmed by our inner turmoil or obstacles to Dharma practice. So therefore, our practice of patience, the development of this mind that stays undisturbed in the face of adversity, comes about in dependence on the growing strength of ethics and generosity. And ethics and generosity come about in dependence on the strength of mind that's cultivated here, in precious human rebirth and the reflection on the impermanence of this life. And the fourth practice, that of joyous perseverance, this is naturally arising through all of these meditations. As we see ever greater change in our way of thinking, we start to see how we are no longer disturbed by the world around us, but our mind is more peaceful, less distracted, more joyous. And we're seeing that we are able to have a calming and a beneficial influence on the lives of others. This leads to joy within us, and it leads to the wish to want to persevere in receiving teachings, in meditating on those teachings. And then with this basis, the other reflections on concentration and wisdom also will come about so much more easily. And then all of these practices, when they are done on a basis of love and compassion, they have such great power, because then our mind is so much more expansive, because we are persevering through difficulties, not just for ourselves, but for all others. And this too adds ever greater strength and power to our mind. And then when we faced with life's hardships and life's difficulties and pain, we see it in a different perspective and we can transform it with ever greater ease. And that too adds to our inner joy and our inner strength. So this is a heroic way to deal with life. And it comes about in dependence on these very meditations that we've been looking at for some time now. And through receiving these teachings, one goes through them in the class, goes through that process of reflection on these teachings. And doing that then at home brings about a development of a strengthening of these virtuous minds, habituation to this way of thinking. And as this habituation grows, first through receiving the teachings, secondly on our meditation chair or cushion, it then starts to have an impact in our everyday life. And we start to see how we interact with others and with difficulties in a very different way. And that inspires us to make ever greater effort. In this way, our non-virtuous ways of thinking, these weaken. Our virtuous ways of thinking, these grow and develop. And this is how one lives a life of meaning. This is how one integrates the Dharma in our everyday life. This is how we experience happiness now and create the causes for greater happiness in our future lives. This is how we have a meaningful impact on others right now, and an ever greater, more meaningful impact in our future lives too.
Kanga tene mangpo chungore tene za Bendigo kanga tike chasana shi chamyo ya da 안 디던달이야 저기 드림 겨와 사샤베 겨와 델라데네 아니 저기 저다 지나 심전 탐지게 되는데 내가 이제 분이 홍콩에 강아지게 쳐서 바 시점이야 못 쳐서 시 야 시점이야 don달이야 아니 저기 디네 영어 쇼 삼지 몰람 자지다 안 디네기 대디네 분이게 다 디네 두습 제가 나 디네게 강아 즉 제가로시 유배네 디슬이야 오늘 이제 스타 건조게电池的 라신이가야 강아 뭐티고를 인제 선배 삼다다 안 되니기 저기 개와사와 될때네 아니 건조게라서 자상 편준 잠바 잠제게 삼로 깨제 아니 시대야 고용하셔 삼지는 뭐는 되네 고용서
가르쳐기도 sem중jam이라 얘기네. So next week we'll continue from here and we'll talk, continue to look at how Dharma helps and non-Dharma only harms. Now tonight when you come to dedicate, we've had a request for dedication to be made especially for Hong Kong. So I get a bit emotional sometimes because it's a little hard. Anyway, so bear with me, I'll try and repeat what Genna said, but it'll be a little abbreviated. So there were some students trapped in Hong Kong who we just dedicate for Hong Kong, and I leave it at that, okay? Thank you.